Hi folks, today we're going to take a look at someone I've been keeping an eye on, and if you've seen my two live streams on him, you know why. Today we're going to take a look at Abaya Israel, aka Tyrone Lyons, also known amongst us in the community as Lion Lyons. I'm going to debunk one of his cop tales and, well, point out where he's wrong and why we know he's wrong. With that being said, a quick announcement for the channel. We now have memberships. Memberships start off at $1.99. And not only is it a great way to get some sweet perks, such as custom emojis, loyalty badges, private Discord server rooms, and not to mention members only live streams and live chats, but it's a good way to help keep the channel going. Without you guys, I couldn't do it. And well, it helps me out a lot too. With that being said, let's enjoy today's video, shall we?
Be the behind the, let's say, scenes insight to what really happens behind the badge. Hopefully this channel, well, this particular video doesn't just give you the insight behind the badge, but it actually helps you deal better with police officers. I think the information I'm about to share in this video is very valuable, so make sure you watch all the way to the end. So it doesn't matter even if you're everyday citizen or you're an auditor or you want to become an auditor. This piece of information, I think, will serve you greatly.
Shenanigans are being called already, and we're not even 3 minutes into the video. That's a new record. But, Mr. Israel, or Tyrone, or Mr. Lyons, whatever you want to be called, I will call you this. I will call you a liar for a reason. The information you give in this video is full of inaccuracies and misleading information that I have pointed out with the help of such fine upstanding channels as Commentator Auditor and Welsh News Network, to speak of a few. But no, you want to tell people this information is going to help them deal with the police? I don't think it will.
And that is this. Always remember, police will police according to their experience. Police will police according to their experience. And what that means is this. I'll give you a good example of me, right? So before I became a police working on the roads, I actually worked in the jail system first, the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. And with that being said, I left there and I moved to Georgia, and I came up to join one of the departments in Georgia. Well, I'll tell you this, citizens are not the only ones that are lied to in this profession. So in my experience, I was told, hey man, you have a great resume. We want to hire you. You come up, you work for us. And I was like, okay, because
you're lying. Well, as the tribal chief has just spoken, you are lying, Abaya. You are lying about being recruited. Because you see, I called Hillsborough County and I asked them, did you get recruited or transfer over to the state of Georgia to any bureau or any department? And they told me no. I looked up your records. You didn't even make it as a cadet in Atlanta. You quit after 2 months. So, why are you lying?
I wanted to go into law enforcement. And so I was told I would receive funds to help with my transition, because it's not just me, it's my wife, my children, and we're making a big move from one state to another. I was told I was going to receive help with finding a place to live. Well, long story short, none of that ever happened. And so when I became really upset with this particular department, so I applied to different departments who offered me a job. So I was leaving this particular department.
You serious?
So this department then stated, well, what if we give you the funds that they initially promised me? What if we give you the funds, would you stay? My thought was, where were the funds when I was there?
Now, when did all of this take place? Before or after you quit the Atlanta Police Department's academy without making it past cadet for the first 2 months? Because the only places that you were ever any form of law enforcement in the state of Georgia, was a cadet for the Atlanta PD and a officer in Douglasville, which you did something so bad to get fired that you resigned in lieu of termination, I should say, that they pretty much Thanos snapped you off their social media page. But we'll get into that another day. But right now, we have to call you out for your shenanigans and lying, Mr. Lyons.
Why didn't you just give me the money then? I needed it. And let me tell you why I needed this. And this is going to go into the story that I'm about to tell you. The reason I needed the funds so badly, because while me and my wife, we were making this state to state move, we had a big setback financially. So once we arrived from Florida to Georgia, we were struggling pretty bad financially. And we didn't know about the taxes with the vehicles, switching the vehicle registration from one state to another. It was all new to me.
You've done no research in a cross-state move. I find that very hard to believe, because when I moved from a different state, I did all of my research. I looked up what it would cost me to get a new license, what fees I'd have to pay, what cost would it to register a vehicle. All of that information, which I easily Googled off of my smartphone. But no, you did no research into this. I'm getting a whiff of some more shenanigans coming off of you. But let's see what this has to do with your situation without knowing about registration.
And so we couldn't afford to register our vehicles in Georgia. And so get this, myself, almost a year, my tag was expired. My wife, a little over a year. So we couldn't afford to renew our registrations or transfer our registrations, and it was pretty bad. And so with that being said, it's like I understood, and I still understand to this day, the financial struggles that some citizens can have. And by being a cop and you pulling someone over and you're not trying to understand their situation, you just think everyone's a criminal, you push them further.
Technically, you were a criminal, so if a cop did stop you, which I'm surprised you didn't do anything to save up money to do so, because, you could have gone to your employer if you were an actual cop in Atlanta, where you said you were, and told them your situation and gotten the money. You could have gone to a payday advance place or pawned some materials that you could have gotten back with your next paycheck or your wife's paycheck, because at the same time this story takes place, she's a dispatcher for Atlanta 911, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it Atlanta PD? I'm sorry, your stories confuse me at times with all the bullshit that's in them.
Into a hole. So for example, had I got pulled over and received a citation, then I wouldn't have been able to pay that citation, nor would I still would not have been able to get my tag renewed or transferred over, which would have just started opening up more cans of worms, and I would have went further into that hole. And so when I became a police officer and I got on a department and I'm settled and I'm working, one thing I never pulled cars over for or I never wrote a citation for was expired registrations.
It's just not right. It's really eerie here. Something's fucky.
So, dereliction of duties. That would be a good reason to get fired. You're a cop. You may not agree with all the laws, but you are sworn to uphold the law. And one of the laws you are sworn to uphold are vehicle laws. And if they say you need to give somebody a ticket because, well, they're violating one of the vehicle law statutes, you have to do it. Refusal to do so is a fireable offense. But what am I saying? This is one of your stories. And your stories are just that. They're fairy tales.
Guys, my thought process is this. If you can't afford to pay your registration, you're not going to be able to afford the citation either. But if I pulled a car over and it was for something else and it happened to have an expired registration, I would inquire, why is your registration expired? Because, you could have a situation that was much like mine. So for that reason, I never wrote those citations. I never wrote expired registrations. I mean, just think about it.
I'm smelling some grade A shenanigans here. But let's jump ahead to this important part of the story where we find out he was a terrible, terrible law enforcement officer for not doing his job properly. And I get it. Officers do have discretion. But when your job requires you to do that and to give a ticket, you have to do it. You may not like it, but it's the job you signed up for.
Particular experience, but I still had financial struggles, so I knew what it was like. So one night, I don't know, maybe 2 o'clock in the morning, maybe 1:12, somewhere in that area, I pull over a vehicle and it's a female driver.
Get ready, everybody. He's about to do something stupid.
And she has a female passenger, a little kid. And this vehicle has no insurance on it. Now, in the state of Georgia, if you don't have insurance on your vehicle, no ifs, ands, or buts, your vehicle's going to be towed. What I would do, and what other officers that were on my shift at least, what we would do, we would at least give the driver time. Hey, can you call? I don't know, find somebody open, Progressive, whatever. I don't know.
Hold up. You're telling me at 2 a.m. I can call and get an insurance claim processed in time and registered with the DMV or the BMV, depending on what the state calls it, and get insurance registered to a vehicle at 3 in the morning? Why are you lying, Mr. Lyons?
See if you can insure your vehicle. Go online, see if you can get some insurance, because we really don't want to tow your vehicle. I stopped this car. It was a female driver, and when I approached the driver's side, she is shaking. She's petrified. She's scared, and I know she doesn't have insurance because I ran the tag and it said no insurance. And this is one of those stories I really feel horrible about. I feel bad about. You guys probably like, oh my God, you took our car. No, I didn't. Just wait till the end. But I still felt bad regardless.
So you didn't do your job. I get it. You don't want to be the bad guy. I don't want to be the bad guy. But sometimes we have to be the bad guy for safety concerns. I mean, let's say you didn't stop her and she got into an accident. Well, according to your logic of, experience, living by experience, she could have been, she could have injured herself, her daughter, or another driver, or their passengers. And then who's left to pay all those bills? The victim in the accident. I mean, it's ridiculous to hear this story because it's just so far-fetched.
Talking to her, hey, you have insurance? She's telling me I don't have insurance. So I'm like, ma'am, you're not supposed to be driving. She states that I know, but I just got off of work and I work in a warehouse and this is late. This is really late. And she goes, I just picked up my daughter and we went to the Walmart and she was hungry. We don't have any food. And I went to Walmart to get some food so she can eat. Gonna take her home. We're gonna eat, get some rest, and I have to do this thing all over again tomorrow. And I felt really bad. I'm like, wow, because as she's talking to me, and as I did and all cops do, we're looking through the car. I look inside of the vehicle and I see all of her work clothing. She has like a hard hat and a vest and boots and everything back there. And
Dramatization may not have happened.
There's only so much of this guy's lies I can stand without getting a migraine. I'll sum up his story. He gives her some time and he lies to his dispatch to try to find insurance. She can't. So what does he do? He violates Georgia law and his duties as a law enforcement officer by letting her go on her way home. I get it. Nobody wants to be the bad guy in these kinds of situations. Nobody wants to leave a young mother and her child on the road, but that's the thing. Everything we found out about Tyrone's lies are just that. They're lies. I'll link the original video in the description box so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But if you guys like this video, please like, share, leave a thumbs up and a comment because it helps me with the algorithm. And well, be safe, be well.